Well, hello guys. It's been quite a while, but I'm back. For now anyways. Leaf here, bringing you guys another character review for Fire Emblem Heroes. This time around, I'm going to take a look at Effie, a character with a rise in popularity ever since the advent of skill inheritance. As usual, I'll be covering the listed topics below, as well as some things that might just spring to mind throughout the video itself. With that being said, let's get right on to it. Now, a huge shout out to the guys over at FEheroes.wiki. They're working on that Fire Emblem Heroes wiki page with very up-to-date information regarding all the characters. So if you want to stay in the game, be sure to visit their website. That being said, the stats are grabbed right off their website. So if we just take a look at those stats for a little bit. So, after taking a look at the stats, we can see that her attack and HP are a strong suit, while her speed is obviously a little bit of an issue for her, but she's a armor tank, so it's kind of to be expected. What's more surprising to me, however, is her subpar defense and resistance stat. Oh, maybe the resistance is just about enough, but her defense is absolutely not too great for attack. Now the reason for this, I believe, is because she's built around a skill that used to only come with Effie herself, and that skill is called Wary Fighter. It prevents her from being doubled even with her really low base speed, as long as her HP is above the 50% threshold. So, taking that into account, no, I don't think her defense and resistance are actually that low. They're actually really great. Unlike Hector, whose neutral defense is 37, Effie, with her lower defense, will only be looking at receiving one attack, so she won't be getting doubled every single time like Hector is. Yeah. So, her strength and weaknesses. She, I think, has the strongest single hit in the entire game. Now, to give you guys a brief idea, let's say you decide to keep her Silver Lance Plus, which is her default weapon at 5 stars. It has a weapon might of 15, with a damage boon, Death Blow 3, Threat and Defense 3, all kicking in at the same time, and you're initiating combat. She'll hit for 69 damage with that one single hit. Now, if you replace that weapon with a Brave Lance Plus, she'll be doing 62 times 2 damage if you're initiating combat, so that is a total of 124 damage, which is nothing to be laughed at. I believe she'll probably one-shot most enemies other than Hector, even with the triangle weapon disadvantage. So yeah, she's a mean hitter. She is also very bulky. With Wary Fighter, she won't be getting doubled as much, and if she survives the one hit, she can counter attack. And we've just been over just how amazing she is at the attacking side of things. So yeah, she's very dangerous. Weaknesses is that she is slow, but that's okay. Wary Fighter prevents her from being doubled. Her armored movement thing, which makes her only move one grid base at a time, kind of okay, because you can just chuck pivot on her and it will help solve the problem a little bit. Arena threats include green mages. They're the most likely ones to kill her anyways, but I don't think they can one-shot her, and if they cannot one-shot her, then she'll one-shot them in return on the next turn. Her biggest hard counter, I believe, is Hector, because against Hector, there's just no way you can win, with Effie anyways. So moving on, that units that synergize well with her, I think would definitely be dancers. With a dancer and pivot, Effie can cover quite a lot of ground in one player phase. Healers are also very much appreciated. Unfortunately though, unlike Hector however, there are no solid dancers that will pair up extremely well with Effie to cover her weaknesses against green units. So Hector and Azura are the ultimate duo because they cover each other's weaknesses. Olivia isn't quite there at Azura's tier, so poor Effie will be missing out on that ultimate duo setup in a way. But you know what? It's okay. Any dancer will be better than having no dancers on your team. So yeah. Anyways, moving on. Here are the builds. Alright, so these are basically the 3 builds that I might play around with. Now, Brave Lance will allow Effie to do slightly less, well, to have slightly less weapon might, but double attack whenever initiating combat. Now this is okay, as Effie has the highest base damage in the entire game, so if anybody can wield a Brave Lance and make the most of it, it's going to be her. Now, -5 speed does not matter, as she's already really slow, and you won't get doubled because of Worry Fighter. Death Blow 3 gives you +6 attack when initiating combat, which with the Brave Lance plus there, you'll probably be wanting to do that anyways. And if you're initiating combat with a 1 movement grid base kind of movement thing, chances are your enemies are going to be in range to receive a threaten whatever stat debuff, in which case I strongly recommend the threaten defense debuff just for another +5 attack essentially to each of your Effie's attacks, one of which will probably be a Moonbow because that's a 2-charge ultimate, and you've probably already received a hit if you're in range for an attack anyways. So the verdict is your enemies are probably going to get 1 shot unless they're Hector. So the next build on the list, Killer Lance and Moonbow, makes the best of not lowering her weapon might by too much, while also having a 1-charge cooldown Moonbow, which takes advantage of the countering thing. This build does not make use of Brave Lance, as I've put distant counter on this. Yeah, so to do this build you must have maybe a spare couple of Hectors lying around that you're willing to sacrifice to give Effie the distant counter. Brave Lance won't double unless you initiate, which is why I've left it out of this build. And if Effie isn't wielding a Brave Lance, well then she damn well better be wielding a Killer Lance to give her that 1-charge cooldown Moonbow. Worry Fighter, as usual, stays, or she's going to die from double attack from everything, even the wind. And for the C-slot skill, Threaten Defense or Hone Attack are both solid picks. I might pick Threaten Defense over Hone Attack just because I already have a unit in my party that has Hone Attack. So yeah. But basically I think this build drastically aims to kind of improve upon what the first build does. It's a little bit more expensive to kind of make though, in terms of sacrificing a Hector for this Effie. Yeah. But yeah, distant counter with that really high damage is definitely kind of tempting, you know? And also with the distant counter, it makes it a little bit easier to sort of position her correctly. So anyways, moving on, the last build are a mix of things that might be good on her if you're wanting to play her more as a supportive clutch tank. Wings of Mercy allows her to teleport to allies, at which point she can either swap places with them and tank the hit for them, or initiate combat against the enemy up close with Brave Lance and Death Blow, healing her allies in the process of doing so. And Excution, or however the fuck you pronounce that, it's there because, you know, with a supportive tank build, you might want to be lasting a little bit longer whenever possible. That being said, Moonbow is still very viable right there, so replace it if you want. This one's here just because I wanted to demonstrate that, hey, you know what, like, Moonbow is not the one and only ultimate that you're allowed to have. Be wary with Effie, as without Wary Fighter where it should be, she's going to get doubled by a lot of things, basically everything in the whole game. So I would probably avoid this build over the other ones, actually, just because of that. But if you need a teleporting tank and you don't have a Hector, or if your Hector is already doing some other stuff like Vantage, then this is a solid pick in a way, I guess. You know, it's just there to, if you guys want to change things up, you can try this. I highly recommend sticking with the previous two builds though. So, alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what kind of heroes you guys would like me to cover in the future, if you're interested. Mostly characters that I've been doing the reviews for, I have myself, so I kind of like to think that I have a better insight into how they perform in actual combat situations. But yeah, I mean, just let me know who you'd like me to cover in future videos, or if you enjoy the series, or maybe if you did not enjoy it. But if you do enjoy it, or have had the video help you out or whatever, be sure to leave me a like or something, because it really helps me out. I'm just kind of starting out, so if anything, it kind of gives me a little bit more motivation and confidence boost, just so I know that these videos are actually, you know, worth something. But anyways, with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one.